Hey guys, welcome back to another Late Night Strange. And tonight I'll be talking about some of my paranormal experiences while growing up. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to put a comment down in the comment section below. Before I start, let me ask you, do you believe in ghosts? I've asked this question in my first paranormal video, and haven't really got much response, but if you do, please tell me some of your paranormal experiences down in the comment section below. I enjoy reading comments as well as many others who watch videos on YouTube. Not just me, but I know a lot of people scroll through the comments just to see if there's something relatable where they could actually read and relate to. So, before I begin, I already posted a video about my first ghostly encounter, seeing my grandma when I was about 4 years old. If you haven't watched that video, please go check it out before you start this one. Alright, so tonight I'll be sharing my personal experiences while growing up, and with that I'll be changing the names of my family members to keep them unknown. So after seeing my grandma visit me, a few years after that my dad had been diagnosed with leukemia. During that time, it was extremely hard for my family as he was the sole provider for a big family of 8 kids. In 1996, my dad decided that he would move all of us to Wausau, Wisconsin, as his immediate family was from there. His thought process at that time was if he lost to his cancer and laid to rest in Wausau, Wisconsin, my mom would move all of us back to Fresno, California, where my mom's side of the family was. But in 1998, my dad has passed away from leukemia. So after his passing, we decided that it would be better for us to stay in Wausau than to move back to Fresno, since my mom had already made friends throughout the years, and her friends kind of helped her land a job working second shift making cheese. So throughout the evening, we would be shuttled pretty much all around town with different babysitters until we finally settled with my aunt, who I would consider now my second mom, as she pretty much raised us until we were in our teens. And this is where my second encounter with the paranormal started. And it happened at my aunt's house where she babysat us. So in the beginning, their house was filled with stories of the paranormal. It was an older home built in the 1900s. My aunt and uncle also had 8 kids of their own who were all my cousins. They told us numerous stories of what they experienced living in that home before having a priest come and bless it. Even during our time there, we've seen at least 2 or 3 blessings. Even though we were young at that time, we didn't really understand the process of blessing or priest coming in. We were just kind of, unknown to that church side of things, so thought that it was just a process they go through. But yeah, usually it comes after when something strange happens that kind of spooked my aunt and uncle. So something eerie was going on that we didn't really, we weren't really notified about at all, and that's kind of what made us kids kind of careless. We went everywhere, in the basement, all the way upstairs. We even played hide and go seek in all multiple rooms where nobody was in. Being kids at that time, just thinking back how big that house was for us, while we could run all around the house, run all upstairs, and get tired out. So during that time, while we were playing downstairs, my first cousin, she wanted somebody to go downstairs with her in the basement to help her do laundry. And me being the carefree kid I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go with you downstairs in the basement, because the washer and dryer, once when you walk down, they were pretty much right there. So as we load up the laundry, I sat on top of the dryer, and while she was unloading clothes, and right when we were just kind of like not really thinking about anything at all, just talking and then just shooting the breeze, we heard a little girl at the end of the hall just humming. La, 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 la. We both looked at each other, knowing that we were the only ones down there, because their basement was pitch black that time. And down the hall, there was this little room and this bathroom to the right side of it. But there's this room that was all the way in the back, and you couldn't see. You kind of have to go around a corner to see it. But we heard a little girl at the end of that room just kind of singing. So during that split second, me and my cousin, we just kind of looked at each other. And then she just kind of like stares at me for a bit. She drops all the clothes and she starts booking upstairs. And me being small at that time, I was sitting on top of the dryer. So I jumped down. I was just crying my eyes out, just terrified, telling her to wait for me and wait for me, wait for me, you know. And by the time I look up, she's already on top of the stairs, you know, and she was just pretty much gone. So I'm running up the stairs and just tripping over steps. And by the time I got up there, my aunt and a few of my brothers and sisters were up there, kind of wondering what the heck is going on, you know, why am I crying and stuff like that. So I told her, you know, we heard a little girl at the end of the hall in that one room. And in that one room, they actually had this life-size doll that was over there. And for some reason, they didn't really like that doll, so they just kind of stuffed it in that back room. And for some reason, maybe that big doll was singing, you know, but holy crap, man, that scared the crap out of me. And if my first cousin is listening to this right now, I mean, just hearing that voice, it was as clear as if, like, you know that somebody was in that other room. And during that time, my aunt, you know, she was trying to calm the situation. So she was just like, oh, it might have just been, you know, one of the kids, you know, singing, and might have just echoed in the basement. But man, I know what I heard. She knew what she heard, and it terrified the crap out of us. So that was that was my second paranormal event that happened in my life. So yeah, let's move on. So while all of that was happening at my babysitter's house or my aunt's house, we were also moving at the same time. So we didn't really stay in one house for long. We stayed there for maybe a year or two, and then we'll move. And then we stay there for 6 months to a year, and then we'll move. And then that's only, I don't know, it was kind of strange because no matter where we moved to, it always seems as if every house that we moved to was haunted. And thinking back now, knowing more about these type of spirits that are involved in hauntings, I believe that no matter where we went, it was just like my dad was just always there with us wherever we went. And, you know, for those that don't know, there are multiple types of haunting. So while we were kind of bouncing from places to places and moving here and there across town, we didn't have any, you know, crazy demonic hauntings, something like that. We have minor poltergeist activities where the doors would move and, you know, just small things like that where it was just kind of like noticeable, where you knew something was going on, but you didn't really know either. I think my dad was just there to kind of make things move, to make sure that we know that he is still there. Because the type of haunting that I believe we had was attachment. So my dad pretty much latched himself onto us, and no matter where we went, he went with us. So that pretty much explains the, you know, every single place that we moved to, something would happen where things would move, doors would move. So minor poltergeist activities, like somebody saying, hey, look, I'm still here, guys, you know, so don't worry. But yeah, other than that, you know, we didn't have any crazy demonic thing happening at all. Nothing residuals, because usually residuals is pretty much like if there was a murder in the house or if there was negative energy. We didn't have any of that. You know, we were kids. We were always carefree, happy. But there was one house that we went to where we lived pretty much across the street from my babysitter's house. And there was one event that I still remember till this day that was pretty much solidified what I just said now. And of course, during that time, my mom was a single parent. So there was always a lot of guys that always came over, you know, older men coming over while we're kids. You know, we're trying to chase them off by digging our hands in our pockets and just trying to be the most obnoxious kid ever to these boyfriends that came. Well, we don't really, shouldn't really call them boyfriends, but guys that wanted to get with my mom, they always come over. And then there was a guy, I still remember this. He came from Appleton, which is about an hour and 30 minutes away, just to come see my mom. But he came kind of late, so he, you know, asked my mom if he could, you know, sleep in one of the rooms. And during that time, we all, especially all the kids and my mom, we all slept in one room downstairs because that room was huge. We could fit 2 queen beds and a twin in there, and still have plenty of space to walk, you know, run around and stuff like that. But we all slept in one room, and upstairs there was 3 extra rooms up there with 3 beds, and my mom's like, you know what? Since it's late, you can stay, but you got to sleep upstairs. And yeah, so he's like, all right, whatever. So you want to go sleep upstairs. And how to get upstairs is you got to go through the kitchen and go all the way up the stairs, and you make a sharp right, and then there's a bathroom, and that's when you get to the first room. And you have to go through the first room to get to the second room, and you have to get through the second room to go to the third room. These were houses that were built in the 1900s. So you have to go through one room to get to another room to another room. And he slept in the mid room, pretty much the second room. Well, anyways, he was sleeping there, and then in the morning we woke up. We went upstairs, and he was gone. And we're like, what the heck? Like where the heck did he go? So my mom kind of got worried. My mom's like, oh, I have no idea. So she called him up and asked him, like, hey, where the heck did you go? And then he was like, oh man, last night was crazy. So he told my mom the story. My mom told us this story, but he said that he was sleeping upstairs in the middle room, and while he's laying in bed and hoping to get lucky, he heard footsteps come all the way up the stairs, just like how anybody would. Look, 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 and walk up the stairs. And he came all the way through the first room, and then he came right to the door where he goes into the second room, which is his room. So he came all the way to the door and it stopped, and the door was closed. So he's like, it's probably my mom. So he just kind of, waiting, and nothing happened at all. So he's just like, that's kind of weird. So he gets up and he goes and opens the door and nobody's there. So he's like, that's strange. I swear to God, I heard somebody. So he closes the door, but he doesn't shut it right away, like all the way. So he pretty much just closed the door and he went back to go, lay in the bed. And while he's laying there, I think 10 or 15 minutes has gone by, and he heard footsteps again coming up the stairs. He's like, oh, great, I'm going to get lucky now, So he's laying there, and he hears footsteps come all the way upstairs, make a right, and it comes all the way down through the first room and right to the door, right, in front of his door again. So he's like, all right, you know what, maybe this time it is my mom. Kind of sits up a little bit, and then he's just kind of waiting. And nothing happens at all. So right now he's kind of getting freaked out. He's just kind of like, this is super strange, like what the heck is going on? So he gets up and he kind of like walks and peeks around the corner, and then he kind of like, the door, it's not closed all the way. So he, says my mom's name a few times, and my mom doesn't answer. Nobody answers. And that's when he got freaked out, and he grabbed all his stuff and he whips open the door. Nothing's there at all, and he just takes off. And he got in his car and he drove all the way back to Appleton. And then when my mom called him, that's what he told my mom. And I believe that was my dad trying to scare the crap out of him, because there's been multiple things that happen, especially with my mom when she tries to get married again or tries to have a boyfriend. She will always get very, very sick. And it wasn't just kind of any kind of sickness. Like, she got really ill. And she would go to the doctor. It happened twice already. She would go to the doctor, and the doctor, they'll run all the CT scans and do all their diagnosis and everything like that, and just, blood tests, you name it. They can't find anything at all, nothing. And it happened twice already. That's one reason why she never got remarried. But yeah, I believe that night when that guy heard the footstep, I believe that was my dad coming up, trying to scare the crap out of him. So I thought I'd share that story. Very fascinating and quite entertaining, because if I go and try to get lucky somewhere and I get haunted by ghosts, I mean, that'd be terrifying. But yeah, I just thought to share the story with you guys really quick. And hopefully one day I could finish up this story of, my father's love for us, and how he kind of followed us everywhere, and all the paranormal activity that happened, while we were growing up without a father. And just everywhere we moved to, it was just very strange things happen. We even got to the point where we actually had to leave everything behind and move out of house too. So hopefully one day I get a chance to get there, but I'm gonna add short stories like this all the way till I make it there. So hopefully within 2 to 3 more episodes I can finally get there and tell our demonic activity that happened in our second half house in Wausau, Wisconsin, that made us leave everything behind. And that's why I don't play with the Ouija board anymore. But Yep. Don't play with any of that stuff, guys. But yep, just thought I'd share a little story today in between these cryptid stories. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of episode. If you guys like this kind of podcast style, let me know also. Or you guys want pictures and stuff like that, let me know also. But as for these paranormal stories, I'm just gonna make it like a podcast version like this, and just kind of talk to the mic and just share the story with you guys. But that is all I got for today, guys. So thank you guys very much for listening. For those of you who like this kind of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys all on the next episode of The Late Night Strange. Goodbye, guys. And thank you again. Stay spooky.